Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. As ever, you can find me most active over on Instagram at the House of Langford and at Overall Sews. I'm also on Ravelry at CrossStitcher. And something I have forgotten to mention in every single one of these podcasts is that I have a Facebook page. It is the House of Langford on Facebook, and that is where you can find all of my products that I sell. I can't believe it's taken me months to realise that actually I could be using this platform to show you exactly what I sell and maybe even enlighten you into purchasing some really, really pretty things because I'm running out of space. Please buy them. Not in for the hard sell or anything. Please, seriously, go over, buy them. So, a little bit about my brand. The House of Langford was set up because I make so many things that actually I don't have space for them, and it would be really lovely to send them out into the world for other people to enjoy. Originally, I started out just making jewellery pieces using wire, gemstones. I then started branching out into making resin pieces, all of my own. And I do a lot of wire work. Now there are lots and lots of pieces available, and whilst we've been in lockdown, they're just sat in a box. So if you'd like to see more, please head over there and pick up some really, really lovely, beautiful pieces. On top of that, I've also been adding pieces that I've made during these podcasts. I mean, those little zippy pouches, they're all on there. Even some of the bags I've made are on there as well. So I have some exclusives today too. The month of June has seen me participate in quite a few different crafts. I have recently started picking up my cross stitch again, so you've seen a lot of that. So there's still some for this month as well. I've had the sewing machine out quite a bit this month actually, and sewn up a storm, shall we say. And I've even made a new friend. So there are several hashtags out there which I will mention throughout the podcast, and let's just say they've kept me on my toes, and they've actually made me crack on with some of these whips that I've got and finish off loads and loads of projects. So let's get started, shall we? First up on the list of finishes and FOs are, I found this really cute cross stitch project. It uses a piece of wood as the base, and then you stitch onto the wood. Now this came with issue 264 of CrossStitcher. I can't remember if I found the magazine or not. I may well have done and used that pattern, but actually I've been able to work it out from the front as well. This has been really tricky actually to work on the wood because there's no give in it. It doesn't act like fabric, it's solid. So it's been a little bit difficult to work with, but I have persevered, and I have myself a cute little keyring. Now it's called the Vintage Rose Keyring Kit. You can see it's on this really nice thin piece of wood. I'm not sure what type of wood it is. It just says a wooden key fob. And it uses these really lovely colours. If I can get it in the middle, there we go. And my phone doesn't really like to focus. Are you going to focus? No, it's forward facing, it doesn't like to focus, other than on me apparently. So if I hold it back here, you can see it, but you can't see it really, really close. So that was the first piece I completed. Now the back is not very neat, so I'm wondering whether to actually stick a piece of felt on the back to hide it, because that's the back. Now obviously if you've got that on a bag and it flips over, that's not really a nice sight to see. I have tried to keep it as neat as possible, but in order to weave the ends through, it's taken a little bit of work. So I'm going to stick a piece of felt on the back just to hide that a bit, or maybe even a pretty piece of fabric that matches. That would be nice too, wouldn't it? The second piece that I have finished, which was actually a whip because I had most of it cut out and ready to go, then decided to change my fabrics. So I've made this for my mum. So Mum will be getting this on her birthday. Now her birthday's not for a couple of weeks, so Mum, you're going to have to wait if you're watching this early. It is a project you can find in the So Beautiful Things Sewing Club, which is run by Claire of Beautiful Things, and I'll put the links and details for that in the description box below for you. It is a lay flat makeup bag. Like this. Now it doesn't look like much like this because it's all pulled together and it's flat. But the idea is that you've got this Velcro flap over the top. You've then got a drawstring. So let's undo the drawstring. It requires quite a lot for your drawstring. I've just put these stoppers on to keep it intact, but I'm actually tempted to take them off because I don't really need them. So I'm going to undo those, and the idea is that you can lay this out completely flat, and I've used ripstop on the inside so that if Mum spills or breaks some sort of makeup, you can just wipe it clean, which so it's perfect for things like that. And there are even instructions on the tutorial on how to expand it and make it larger for things like Lego. I mean, I've been there. Lego hurts on your feet, okay? If you've got this huge mat of Lego, it keeps it really nice and contained on the floor. And when you're finished, you just pull the drawstrings up and you get a really big bag full of Lego and you just put it in the corner. It's tidy then, isn't it? And it goes away. So that is one of the first projects in, I think it's the bronze level. There are now 4 levels of the sewing club. So you get a project every month for 6 months. And there's a couple of little extras, I think, darted around as well. This is one of the projects in the bronze club. It is the lay flat makeup bag. And hopefully Mum is going to enjoy using that. The next project that I have finished, and this truly was a whip because everything was cut out. I'd already quilted it. It just needed putting together. I mean, how can it take months for me to find time to sew it together? But alas, it is now complete. It is another project from the Sewing Club. This one is called the Vivian Bag and it has handles. It's a really awesome project bag. Of course, you could use this for other things. I guess if you made this with ripstop on the inside, you could even use it as a lunch bag. You can get quite a nice picnic in there, surely. So, I may have shown you one of these before, which I made with fat quarters. For this one, what I have done is used the leftover scraps of all of these floral fabrics and just crazy patched them together to make the fabric pieces for the outer, and then I've quilted it with a grid all the way across. It has a drawstring top, like so. I have lined this in the inside of a duvet because it's a nice lightweight cotton, and the channels at the top for the cord are also in the same fabric. It has a really nice big inside pocket which is zipped. And this is currently housed in one of my whips, so I'll get this back out in a little while. But yes, it is quite cavernous actually. You can get quite a lot in there, which is great. And I really enjoyed working this up, and I actually love the contrast in all the different colours. It is one unique Vivian bag. Now this, I believe, is a project in the silver level of the Sewing Club. So you would have to, I think you can join either at bronze level or silver level, depending on your skill set and whether you need to learn the basics first. So that is a nice project to work up to. It involves quite a few different techniques. So you get to do your quilting, you get to insert a zip in a different way, and it's really nice to just try and customize it to you as well. It is supposed to have a I don't know if it's supposed to have a no, these are the handles. It's supposed to have a little D-ring tag attached as well, but for this one I thought this one's just going to stay at home. I don't really need to connect it to anything, so I didn't put the D-ring loop on it as well. But obviously that is an option for you to put on too. So that is my Vivian bag. Now with lockdown, yes, I am mentioning lockdown again, with the fact that the government have decided that we may actually have to wear masks quite a lot more than we thought we would. we were asked as a school, so the school that I work at were asked to create some for a local unit. I'm not sure which part of the hospital they work in, but they asked us to create to make up quite a few masks for them, and they asked for some nice bright funky fabrics. So along with a couple of other people in my department, because I work in the technology department, we have made a total of 50 between us. I have created 16, and this is the one that I kept for my mum. So I handed over 15 and kept one for my mum. It also helps me remember how to put it together as well to make some more. So this one is a really lovely batik fabric. It's got a nice floral print, and it's one of the pleated ones that look like the surgical masks. It's also got a hole in the back where you can put a filter in the back of it as well. And not much else to say really on that. It is a face mask. I'm going to put up a picture here of all of them together, of the ones that I donated to the hospital. And on the discussion of masks, I've also made some more fitted ones, and I'll put a picture of those up as well for you. I made a total of 16 of these surgical type ones, and I made a total of 7 of the more fitted face masks, because my mum went back to work and she works in London, so she would either need to tackle public transport and have to wear them on there, but she's quite lucky she's been able to drive into work, so I'm quite thankful for that as well. But yes, I also made 7 for both her and her friends at work. The pattern I've used is from Crafty Editions, I believe. Can't remember. I'll put the link in the description box below when I remember what it is. I think it's Crafty Editions. That is where the pattern is from. However, I purchased a kit from Claire at Beautiful Things. She's been selling kits that she's making up with 100% cotton, and they include a bio strip and a pipe cleaner to help mould the nose section of it as well. And she has kindly filmed a tutorial on how to make them. So if you purchase the kit, you get access to the tutorial, I think. Claire, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, so I have followed Claire's tutorial to make up these masks, and I'm really impressed actually with the way that they fit. They're quite nice and close together. Now, I haven't tried any of them on because obviously I was giving them to family. I do have a picture of me holding one quite a little way away though to show what it would look like. So my mum now has the flamingo one. So yes, Claire has quite a nice selection of different fabrics to choose from, and they're actually really easy to make. I think it's more the fact that we are going to need to wear them, which has kind of put me off a little bit. But anyway, that's really sad, isn't it? So yes, I have been making some masks during this pandemic. Now you'll notice actually that I don't do my podcast in the conventional way of grouping different types of projects together. I actually write a list from the start of the month, and I enter everything I've made in that month in order. So that is the order that I actually discuss it with you as well. I don't group everything. Please let me know if you'd rather I group it together, so you can just switch between sections. If you're here for knitting, you can go to that section. For example, if you're here for cross stitch, go for that section, crochet that section, sewing that section. Whatever it floats your boat, really. This just helps me keep track of things, I guess, and know that I'm talking about everything and not missing stuff out. I'm saying a lot as well. So yes, the next piece that I worked on is a cross stitch piece. There are a couple more. Have I got a couple more? No, this is the only cross stitch piece I've actually finished this month. But I do have a whip because I've been working on some whips of cross stitch, but they will come into the whip section. So I have been doing test stitching for some designers on Etsy and Facebook. I did a couple last month, and this month I was asked to do a Sailor Moon piece. Now, if you're in that sort of era or generation of people like myself, I watched Sailor Moon on TV. I think it was on Nickelodeon or Fox Kids, something like that. And it's a really soppy anime, because the kid's like really a sport brat, but anyway, I enjoyed the show. It's empowering women, and yeah, I just enjoy it. It is an anime program. So I have been asked to stitch some of their power wands. Now, each of the characters in Sailor Moon have one of these wands, and I think they change throughout the series as well, so they get more complicated. This one belongs to Sailor Jupiter. And the idea is that you've got the symbol for Jupiter in the centre of the wand, and this would help them to perform some kick-ass action moves. There's not really much else I can say about that. This is by the Chicago Stitchery on Etsy by the lovely Katie. And I'm really happy with this actually, because it took me a week. Just 1 week to start with my gridding and then get it finished as well. In the meantime, I'd also had to go and find some of the threads, because I didn't have all of the threads in my stash. So I've had to borrow some from my mum, and I've had to order some from Lakeside Crafts as well. She has since asked me to stitch the rest of them, so there are 3 more. You have Sailor Mercury, Sailor Mars, Sailor Jupiter, and I've missed one, Sailor Venus. Yes, those are the 4: Mercury, Venus, Mars and Jupiter. I used to really enjoy astronomy, which I think is why I enjoyed this show. Clearly though, that's not in my head at the moment. So yes, Mercury, Venus, Mars and Jupiter. This one is Jupiter, so I have the other 3 to complete. I've got all the patterns, I've got all of the threads now. The fabric that I bought though, I'm not impressed with. I have to say, I got it from Hobbycraft. It is their own brand. It's really stiff, and I want all of them the same, and it doesn't match this fabric, so I'm going to have to try and source this. I believe this is the Zweigart fabric. It is 18 count Ada, and I like it because it keeps everything sort of small, but the stitches are more defined this way. I really prefer the 18 count. 14 count is a little bit too big for me. This might be why I get headaches, but I don't care. I enjoy stitching on this size fabric. So yes, that is my Jupiter, Sailor Jupiter wand, power wand, and I'm really looking forward to stitching the other 3. So moving on, I then had a mega sewing day, and I mean mega sewing day. So I managed to finish some project bags, which should be going into the shop once I sort the shop out. These are exclusive to me because they are my own screen print design, which my husband kindly screen printed for me. And I need to look at getting some new colours as well, because I only have 2 colours available. But it means I have 4 project bags to show you. So here we go. So this is my own design. You'll notice that my t-shirt has the same design on it. This is the design that I did before the Waltham Abbey Wool show. So if you've seen that video, you'll notice that they feature on that as well, or at least this design does as well. So I have created 4 project bags, 2 in the red and 2 in blue, each with a different fabric backing, which also features at the very bottom. They are lined in red for the 2 red ones, with a red zip at the top. They're actually quite a nice size. I would say this is more my medium size. I think you could quite easily get 4 skeins of yarn in there. I haven't tried it yet. Maybe I need to try. Let's find some skeins of yarn. Right, that has 3 skeins of yarn in, all of which are DK and 100 grams. So I think at a push you could get 4, but you wouldn't necessarily get your project in there as well. So 3 skeins of DK yarn will quite happily fit in there. Is sock yarn a little bit thinner? I don't know. So yes, I've got 3 full skeins of yarn in there. Just take them out. They're all different because I've just had to grab whatever I could find. So yes, I have 4 of these project bags. This is the first one with the sort of star-like print on the back. The second one is again a red one, and we've got this more tribal pattern on the back, which has got these lovely diamond shapes. We then have a blue one, which has got this really lovely heart print in orange, red and blues. So I really like that one. That one is slightly different shaping because I've done the boxing at the bottom a little bit deeper. But nonetheless the measurements for the rest of it are still the same. And then the last one is another blue one. And this one has this really nice blue print on it, which actually I think looks like knitting. What do you reckon? Do you think that looks like knitting? I think it does. This one has a softer interfacing because I ran out. The others are quite rigid and stiff, but not stiff enough that they're uncomfortable. It's just that it keeps their shape a little bit better than the softer interfacing. But actually I prefer the softer interfacing, so I will be changing it from in the future. So these are limited edition then in this type of weight, I guess, as it were. Each of these are available in the shop, and they are just £12 each plus postage. So moving on, I have a few more projects that are finished in terms of sewing, and then I have one major new friend I need to introduce you to. I have been trying to produce tutorials which use cross-stitch pieces in a different way. Now, a lot of cross stitches are actually quite large, and you would need a little bit of wall space to display them all. It also means you then have the added cost of framing them. Now, if you're like me, I don't have any wall space left. It's filled with art, filled with photos. I mean, that's my husband's board. I've got loads of gifts on the wall, so I don't actually have space to frame loads of cross-stitch pieces. But actually, a lot of the cross-stitches I've been doing recently are quite small. Now, this particular one has been finished for quite some time, and it's just been sitting in the stash waiting to be made into something really special. So I have another project bag, but it involves a little kitty cat. This is a Margaret Sherry design. I have the kit here. This was from CrossStitch Card Shop, which doesn't publish anymore. And it's a really lovely kit. I love Margaret Sherry designs because they're so whimsical and cute, and every single one has a completely different character, which is just super fun. So I have completed this a long time ago, which is a card kit. And I mean, there's only so many cards you can really make, isn't there? I have made one as a card, but it is going to be transformed into something else. Here is the project bag. So this one has what did I use on this one? I used fusible interlining, which is also known as fusible wadding, which makes it nice and puffy. It's a little bit thicker than the usual wadding I would use as well, so it keeps its shape. I can't squish it. It won't stay squished to sit flat because it immediately pops out again. So yes, I have centered it in the middle of my project bag and then bordered in plain white and pink stripes. I've used a vintage zip, which I found in my stash. I've lined it with white fabric. I'm not sure if this one's going to go up for sale because there's a little bit of... I need to sort out the zip inside. I'm not sure it's completely secure because I've done this in a different way to what I would normally do. I've been trying to find different techniques on how to fit my zips. So at the moment, this one belongs to me. What I am tempted to do though is change the colours of the teacup. Change the colours on the teacup so I can do it for friends and family who like different colours. Because it just uses 3 different pinks for the colouring on the teacup. So I could just change those 3 different colours into tones of, for example, greens and blues. So that is going to be next on my list to do. And then I could make these up in all different colours. And once I've sorted out the issue with my zip, then they would be available for sale in the future as well, I believe. We shall see. So yes, that is my teacup kitty cat project bag. Whilst I had the sewing machine out, I decided to do some tutorials. Now this one is an applique tutorial, but I decided to make it into a project bag as well, which isn't on the tutorial. It's just the applique that is in the instructions. on the how-to, and it is a cupcake. But if you look really carefully, it's a yarn cake. Yes, I made a yarn cake out of applique. I am so pleased with this. It's got this amazing big red button for a cherry on top. It's got this really lovely striped cupcake case. I've matched that with the base being the stripes as well. It is backed in this really nice mottled blue fabric. I've got a light pink zip on the top, and it is lined in a pinky purple fabric, which is also the back of a duvet. I love using duvet fabrics, as you can clearly see, because you get so much fabric with a duvet, and it's cotton fabric. It's just amazing. So this is a little bit larger actually than the previous project bags, but it means that you should be able to get that fourth skein of yarn in there. So this is more of a slightly bigger medium size, I think. I will be producing more of these in all different shapes and colours, so do watch the page to see what else comes up. But I've really enjoyed making this. I've really enjoyed getting to grips with some new techniques. Well, not new to me, but I've been developing tutorials for my students and for courses that I'm teaching, both virtually and in person, all being well. And I've really enjoyed putting this together. Originally, I was just going to do a cupcake. And then when I thought, oh, I can make it into a project bag, I thought, no, it's got to be a yarn cake. So get your yarn cakes in your yarn cake cupcake project bag. Awesome, right? I love it. And I hope you do too. The last thing that I have made, which is sewing based, before I show you my new friend, is a pin cushion. Now the reason I've done a pin cushion is because it is a cross stitch piece I've used as the front, and actually if you do really small pieces of cross stitch, the easiest thing to start with is to make a pin cushion if you want to keep it into something practical. So I filmed this as a tutorial, which is all edited. I've just redone the intro to it, and it will be up next week or in the same week as this, depending on what I edit first and get uploaded first. We shall see. So for those of you who are friends of mine that used to be in a cross stitch group or a cross stitch forum many years ago, we met up in Derby in 2008. So I didn't actually sew this cross stitch up until 2011, or at least I didn't finish it until 2011, but I think I only had the border to do. So it's been sat since 2011, sat for 9 years waiting to be made up into something. And the original kit did have a smaller piece of fabric with it to make a mini pin cushion, which would have been just slightly bigger than a stitch section. However, I didn't want to have to cut off loads of fabric, so I just cut a piece of fabric the same size as the piece I had my stitching on, and I've used that to make my pin cushion. It's super, super quick, super, super cute, and you could have any design on there that you like. I've even tried to edit the video so it looks like I'm just pinning it straight away. So I hope you enjoy it watching that as well if you're looking to try making up little projects. Now, there's nothing to stop you doing this with just 2 pieces of plain fabric to make up a pin cushion, and I just found this a really nice way of showcasing something that I've made and reminds me of memories from meeting my friends in 2008. So if you're watching, I finally finished it. I know I can finally use it, but I remember those memories. So we have a new member of the household. I've made a new friend. Would you like to meet him? This is my new friend. Isn't he amazing? I am so in love with this hippo. You have no idea. I am absolutely ecstatic. It is the only thing I have ever done like this. It's amazing. So Gemma at the Midnight Diary, she was originally the Project Bag, she's just rebranded herself. She set the challenge to do a Hippalong and use African flowers to make an animal of some kind. And I had originally started out making the hexagons to make a dragon, which is Smorg by Heidi Bears, but that takes nearly 200 pieces and I was running out of time. So I decided that I was just going to make them all in blue and I was going to make a hippo, and I'm so pleased that I did. I absolutely love him. He's got a couple of holes where I haven't slip stitched because I was too impatient and just started piecing it together and didn't read instructions properly to see that I needed to slip stitch into each point as well. So I am going to have to darn him, but he is going to my nephew and I just love him. I need to make another one. I've got some of the hexagons made up in the opposite colourways, so I've got pinks on the outside and blues in the centres. So I think I'm going to have to make another one. He doesn't have a name yet either. This is Mr. Hippo at the moment. I'm going to leave it up to my nephew and my sister-in-law to give him a proper name. But I just love him. I need one for me now. This Hippalong. So Mr. Hippo was part of a Hippalong. There were lots of other animals involved and we had so much fun. I am so pleased with him. He has gotten so much love over on Instagram, if you've been able to see my posts over there. And yeah, I'm so impressed with myself. He took a total of 2 months. So he's so big it doesn't fit in the camera properly. I started him on May the 1st. And finished him on June 30th. So he is most definitely a June finish. And he uses all different sized African flowers. So there are some 6-sided ones, 6 petals. There are some pentagons. So we've got hexagons, pentagons, heptagons, octagons. And there are 2 little nose patches which are just 4 petals on them. And he is a Heidi Bears pattern. He is the Happy Potamus and I just love him. I can't, I'm going to keep saying it, I love him. He's amazing. He used up the last of my 400 gram of toy stuffing, which only really filled his bum to about here. And I had to rip open 2 cushions that I'd got from IKEA for when I make cushion covers so that I could use the stuffing out of them. And he has another cushion and a half of stuffing. And I think he's still a little bit floppy in the neck because he nods. But yeah, and I can't stop cuddling him. He's just adorable. His little ears. As soon as I put the eyes in and the ears in, I was like, oh my god, it's a hippo and I love him. So yes, he is my new friend. And I really hope that my nephew and my sister-in-law love him as much as I do, because I think he will be something to cherish for years to come. So now you've met my new friend, it's time to show you what I've been working on. So my whips. As I've had the sewing machine out this month, I have done some mini tutorials. Now these are going to accompany a course that I'm doing both in person and online. And I've also done some other options of them, which I'm going to use for my students at school as well. So they're all in different types of fabrics. It's taken me forever to work out which ones go where. So the first one that I have is chenille distressing, which provides this fluffy texture in the fabric. I then have a quilted square as well. So it uses a piece of wadding. And both of those are going into a cushion project. So I just have the individual squares at the moment. I have one cushion cover that's almost finished, but I need to film the rest of the tutorials before I put a second one together, and then they can have the option for those as well. So that is my first whip for this month. I can't remember if I showed you this last month or not. So in the meantime, I will put up a picture of what it looked like when I picked it back up after being left since 2011, like most of my projects apparently. This one is a Care Bear, Superstar Care Bear in blue, and I have made some progress going up to the side, so we're now at his hand. Both feet are finished. I'm now at his hand, and actually by the time I see you next month, you probably won't be able to see the progress because I need to do the white of his belly, and white on white doesn't show up, so not sure what you're going to see. But yes, I have completed his legs. I am now moving up to the arms. I've got his arm done. I need to do his hand, and then I think this bit is actually moving on to his face. So once I have filled in his tummy in the white, I think I'll feel like it's progressing a little bit quicker. And I love these ones because they're in block colour. It's so much easier than the Wild Menagerie. Block colour. If you want something done quick, do it in one colour. I'm hoping actually that I can get quite a bit of that done because I still have the other 3 Sailor Moon ones that I need to work on as well because they are test stitches. I can't get it back in a packet. Done. They are test stitches that I really should be doing, so I need to get the fabric ordered and here, and then I can crack on with those because like I said, they took a week to do one, and I wasn't working on it constantly either because I had to find threads and stuff like that. It took roughly, I think I worked it out at 15 hours to do that first one, and now that I've done one, the other should be easy, right? A lot quicker. So we shall see. I have one more whip, just one. So as I mentioned earlier, there is a whip living in my Vivian bag. I have been working on these for my friend's 2 children. They are they 7 and 9, or are they now 8 and 10? I can't remember. Their birthdays were in May. So I decided that I've made them the 2 drawstring bags which you saw last month. I decided I wanted to make them each their own little monster. So I found this pattern. This is from a crochet magazine, Simply Crochet, issue 75/76, and he is a little monster from, so I'm assuming this is an October issue because it says for Halloween. So I have this little monster to do, and I have started, and I have heads. I have 2 heads. So I'm using a mixture of different cotton yarns. I've got one blue head and one pink head. And because I've decided that I'm just going to stitch it using my traditional 4mm hook. Yep, 4mm tulip hook. Because that's my preferred hook of choice. These are a lot bigger than they should be. So the overall size is meant to measure 8 centimetres tall. That's already maybe 6 centimetres. It's a good few inches, isn't it? So those are their heads anyway, so I need to put some faces on them. The yarns that I am using, I have the blue one is the Creative Cotton Aran. That's the blue one. And this is a ball of, is it 50 grams? 50 grams, and you get 85 meters. It is 100% cotton. So that is the Creative Cotton Aran by Rico. So that's the blue. The red one is more like a pinky red, and I'm using the Sheepy's Callista, which again is 50 grams, and that is 85 meters, and this is 100% double gassed cotton. What does double gassed mean? To me that's just cotton. So it's not Aran, or is it? I'm rubbish with these sorts of things. It doesn't say, it just says 100% double gassed cotton. So that is the red one, which might be why they're slightly different in size. Only slightly, it doesn't look like it on camera, but they are slightly different in size. So that is the pink one. And to go with the blue one, I have this really lovely minty green. Again, a Calista yarn. Exactly the same. It is 100% double gassed cotton, 50 grams for 85 meters. And that is colour 385. The pink one was colour 146. Why not just add colours? Why do they have to be numbers? The blue Rico cotton, I believe, says number 13. It's not in English. It says Farbe, Farbe 13, and then Party 424. I'm assuming 13 is the colour and 424 is the dye lot. I'm not too sure. Anyway, that's the blue one. So I then got the mint green to go with the blue. And then I have a purple Calista, again 100% double gassed cotton, 50 grams, 85 meters. That is colour number 282, and that is going with the pink. So the heads and bodies are in the main colour, and then the arms and legs and horns are in the contrasting colour. So I'm working those up, and I actually really like them because I had to put a post up on Instagram that says, "Check out my balls!" I just find it so much fun. So I need to get those finished because I need to go and give them their birthday presents, and I don't want to go round without these. So I need to get a crack on, don't I? I need to get a move on. And as I said before, that is living in my Vivian bag. So I think that is it for whips. I believe so. In the meantime, I have some acquisitions. And I really shouldn't be getting acquisition, should I? I don't have any money. The first thing I have to show you is a new project bag. Now, Claire from Beautiful Things made this, and I believe she used it as her making model for her tutorial. It is a drawstring bag, and this fabric is just beautiful. I absolutely love this fabric. It's a complete and utter rainbow of colours with this black background that makes it all really stand out. And I believe she bought the fabric in Arizona. And it's got this handle, which means I can hold it onto my wrist and just knit or crochet away. It's accented in the black, which I think works really, really well. Lovely purple cord. There's no inside pocket, but there's loads of room in there. It's currently housing the leftover cotton yarns from my Hippo. I forgot to tell you what yarn I was using for the Hippo. The yarn I have been using for Mr. Hippo is a yarn that I've been getting with my Big and Little Crochet subscription. These are the books for my crochet subscription to Big and Little Crochet. These ones here, the white ones. And each issue comes with a ball of yarn. Like so. Now these are 25 grams, approximately 40 meters on each one. They're 100% cotton. But the only label you get is the one that says Big and Little Crochet. So I have been using the two different pink colours. And then I have got 4 different blues. Where's the other one? So those are the main colours I've been using. I've then bordered each of the rounds in the white. And then when it came to joining them, I have done the final border in the grey. So I've used a total of 8 different colours to make Mr. Hippo. Now it's just 100% cotton yarn, so even the sheep piece Calista would work, the Rico cotton would work, and it just makes him really nice and soft. So yes, this is holding the leftovers from my Mr. Hippo, and this will now house the new colours. So I'll put some more yarns in here to work on my pink version. So that is still going to be used and made useful. Now to match this, Claire's also made another item. Like this. I can't remember whose pattern it was. It's I think it's one of Claire's clients has made the pattern for this. So if I can get the details, I'll put that in the description below for you. It is a zippy pouch which acts it sits flat when it opens. So it curls up into this little diamond shape, but sits flat when it opens. And it's even got an internal zip, so you could put your tools in there. And if you're working on a sock project, for example, that's perfect size to fit your ball of yarn and your socks in there with the needles. And I have actually used this to put a couple of tools in, and I kept all of my hexagons for the hippo in here after I'd boarded them all, so that they were all neat and tidy and ready to be used. And I just think it's a really nice little gift, really, and it just matches perfectly. It's got the orange fabric on this one in the inside. The drawstring has black on the inside, but that doesn't matter. They match, and I'm nothing if not for Matchy Matchy. So they are both made by Claire from Beautiful Things, and I picked these up in her shop sale. She has transformed her studio space into a mini shop or storefront outside. Not outside, it's within the building, otherwise it'd get wet. So she's transformed. She's got a little shop area in her studio now, so that she can support our addiction to buying fabric and sewing. She's stocking a nice variety of fabrics and things like interfacing and wadding and little bits of hardware for bags and things like that. So she's well stocked at the moment for things for materials, etc. And I believe she is also taking orders through her Facebook page if you email her a list of what you would like. So I highly recommend heading over there. I may have spent a bit too much money. A couple more acquisitions then. I have, in order to make my hippo, I had to get the safety eyes. So that was a given, really. I had to buy a pack of safety eyes to make sure that it is safe for my nephew to use. He's not going to then pull the eyes out. And yes, I now have a box of all different sizes ready to go for future projects. So I'm looking forward to making some more toys. I visited Hobbycraft when they reopened from lockdown with their social distancing rules in place, and Simplicity was having a sale on patterns. So because I wanted to make a toy ages ago, I think it was Christmas time now, when we had when my nephew was born, I wanted to make him a couple of toys. So I found the pattern for these toys, and they're just so cute. But now I need to make all of them. So hopefully over the next few months I will start to make up some really cute toys. These are just adorable, and they just use, you can use pretty much any fabric you like. You can use plush felt, shaggy plush felt, cotton, broadcloth, calico, chenille, flannel, curly shag fur. You can use a variety of materials to make these. Obviously different materials are a little bit trickier to work with, so you just have to be mindful of that. But I'm going to be interested and really excited to try these out, because I've not made something like this before. I've tried in the past. I tried making a fox, which my mum had bought, I think, as a kit, and it came in this really big plastic box, which was clear, so you could see all the bits inside. But it was fluffy material, and I just didn't get on very well with it. But needless to say, I haven't finished it. I don't even know where it is. So if I find that, well, I'll have to finish that as well then, won't I? So that's the only toy I've tried to make. I've never finished it though. So anyway, I am looking forward to making some of these bunnies and bears, and I think there's some dogs in here as well. Yeah, bunnies, bears and dogs. So I'm looking forward to making those. The other pattern that I picked up in the sale is for my parents' dog and my brother and sister-in-law's dog as well. It is a dog coat. I had to phone my mother though and ask her for the measurements of my parents' dog so that I knew the pattern would fit. And actually, he's a little bit bigger in terms of his neck and his belly, so I'm going to have to extend the pattern a little bit because he's a little bit bigger than this pattern. But I cannot wait to make something like this. I mean, it's a Day of the Dead dog coat for a dog. This, yeah, it just makes me smile. So I'm looking forward to making a dog coat for him as well, and potentially for my brother and sister-in-law's dog too, because I just think they'd look really adorable. And what better way to use my sewing skills than make something useful for the furry friends in our life too. So yes, those are the two patterns that I picked up at Hobbycraft, and I'm very much looking forward to trying them out. this might be the last acquisition that I show you, mainly because the fabrics that I bought are still in my car and I can't be bothered to go get them. So I can show you the box of this, but I can't open it to show you what's inside because we are waiting for the big reveal from Bella Coco. I have for you another Crochet Society box. Now this is the first box that I have actually subscribed to and not purchased separately from the site. So I've been waiting for this box since April when I originally subscribed. And I love it already. I can't give anything away, but I love it. I actually filmed my reaction to opening it, which will go up onto the YouTube channel once Bella Coco, Sarah Jane from Bella Coco, has revealed the contents on her channel too. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but seeming as the boxes are arriving and people have seen the box, this is the mega box. It's a nice deep box, and I'm actually trying to see if I can get my hands on box 11, which had 8 massive balls of yarn in it over the lockdown period. So that was for May, I believe. This one was June's box. Yeah, this was June's box, and the one before was May. I really want the Stay Home Stay Crafty box because some of the projects I've seen are amazing, and even though you don't really necessarily get a project book in it, just having the yarn is inspiring enough as it is. So I'm really looking forward to see if I can grab one of those. In the meantime, I have box 12 to keep me company, and I still have boxes, what, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Is that right? Might be 4, 5, 7, 9. I've still got 4 other boxes I can use though, so I need to get cracking and start getting some of these projects actually made up because they're really lovely, and at the moment they're just taking up space. So that is everything for June. You can see I've been quite busy. I have spent so much time working on Mr. Hippo, and every time I've managed to get the sewing machine out, I have made sure that I have cracked on with some whips. I didn't tell you the hashtags, did I? Oh my god. So Gemma at originally the project bag, now the Midnight Diary, set up some challenge hashtags. So we had the Hippalong for Mr. Hippo and all the African flower animals. We also have Crack Those Whips 2020, Crack Those Whips Cow 2020. I'll put them at the bottom. Which is an idea. Everything had to be cast on or started in some form or another before the 1st of May for it to count in Crack Those Whips. I think it's a few months long, and I think it finishes in September. It might be a bit later than that. The idea is that whilst we've got this time on our hands, we're just going to crack on with those whips and get them done. And I've already started finishing off a blanket that's been sat there for 2 years waiting to be bordered and joined, and it's almost done. So that's going to add on to my Crack Those Whips as well. Some of the projects that I've shown you were part of that. So the lay flat drawstring makeup bag was a whip. Mr. Hippo can't because I started him on the 1st of May, so he's not eligible, but he's okay for the Hippalong. What else do I have? The 4 project bags with my design on. Those were all started before the 1st of May. They can go into the Crack Those Whips. And I've got loads of other whips that need to do, so yeah, I can crack them on those too. So yes, we have, those are the main 2 that I've been working on. Everyone keeps talking about this stash dash though. I had no idea what stash dash was, and I have been watching Gemma's podcasts from the very beginning. I love watching her process in making new designs up because she's also a crochet and knitting designer. As well as a yarn dyer, and she makes project bags, and she runs virtual knit night. This woman is like a power woman. She's a powerhouse. I've really enjoyed getting to know Gemma a little bit more, and I enjoy watching back on the podcasts. If I find myself drawn into somebody, I try and make it my mission to watch everything they've done. I did it with Dunder Knit and Knitting Vicariously podcast, and I have watched every single one of her podcasts, including, I think I've watched all of her Vlogmas as well. I may not have, I may have to go check, but I've got time, so it's okay. And I've just really enjoyed getting to know people a little bit better and hopefully they can then get to know me a little bit better, because I'm then responding to things that they've done months ago. Does it work like that? They can get to know me better through this, surely. If they watch it, of course. I don't know if they do. Maybe I'm just talking to myself. Oh, that reminds me. We hit 100 subscribers, so I need to do a giveaway for that as well. What else is there to talk about? No, I'm just rambling. Yes, I was talking about Stash Stash, wasn't I? So Stash Stash is a cumulative... Have I said that right? Cumulative challenge. So I think the idea is that you finish off projects, or you can even start new projects and finish those off, that require a lot of yarn. So the idea is that you measure the distance in the amount of yarn that you use to complete a project. You must have knit or crochet or done some sort of work on it for it to count. It can't just be sewing something together or seaming something. You have to have worked a bit on it for it to count. So a lot of the projects that I have are still very much in progress, and therefore will count towards Stash Dash. There are so many different challenges you can do in a Stash Dash. There are small challenges, so you could do 1k, 1,000 kilometer, 1 kilometer of yarn, or you could do less than that. There are now interval set challenges as well. So I've been looking on the Ravelry page, and you've got 3k, 5k, 7k, 10k, 15k, 20k, above 20k. I've nearly done 1k just on my hippo, and the blanket that I'm almost finished is something like 3,000 meters, which is 3k for one blanket. How can I use 3,000 meters of yarn in a blanket? It has been a whirlwind of a month. I have made so much progress in my whips, in my finishes. I have made so much progress in terms of my sewing and my ability to record instructions and step-by-steps and tutorials, things like that. So hopefully some of those will be going up onto the channel soon, and you'll be able to sew along with me. So I hope that this hasn't been a complete and utter rambling mess of gobbledygook, and that you may have enjoyed my content. At the same time, I hope you are staying safe, staying well, and keeping yourself sane with your crafting, and maybe this gives you a little bit of insight into another mad crafter's life and what I've been getting up to. So I hope you are safe and well. So happy crafting, or happy sewing, or happy crocheting, or happy knitting. I hope you are happy and well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye. Okay, so it is giveaway time. We reached 100 subscribers last month, and I would like to do a giveaway. So what I want you to do is, in the comments below, is tell me your favourite make over all of the podcasts, all of the videos that you can see on my channel. Tell me what your favourite make is, and what is your favourite craft to do in your own time. So what is your favourite hobby? Okay, there are several things that I'm going to put together for a prize, but what I want to do is actually tailor it to the winner. So I want to know what hobbies you enjoy doing, so that I can provide you a giveaway prize that relates to that hobby. So it could be, for example, a project bag. It could be some progress keepers, some markers, some, I don't know, it could be a ball of yarn. I mean, I've got some yarn to dye. I could give you some yarn to work up with and play with. So it could even be a selection of sewing accessories as well. So, like I said, get your comments down below. What is your favourite hobby, and what is your favourite make of mine so far since I first started podcasting, which was September. So let me know in the comments below, and I will draw a winner for the end of... Let's do it for the end of the month. So you have until the end of July. I will close the comments at the end of July, and I will pick us a winner. I'm only going to do it through YouTube, because that's where you guys are. That's where my subscribers are. So pop your comments down below, and we'll see who gets to get a prize. See you soon.